what to say. They had trouble creating content about themselves. They had trouble knowing who to say it to and how often it should be said. In 2007, I started a company called Envelope. We were a white label CRM product, and we sold to the franchise industry. We built some really slick software that automated email marketing as your prospects changed through the pipeline stages. We discovered franchises bought our service for that, and then almost none of them actually used it. Have you had that experience where you sign up for a do-it-yourself email service, and then another month goes by and you go, well, I'll get to it. You feel a little guilty. You know you should do it, but we all get caught up. It's tough finding time to do things. We all have that challenge in our lives. So when we started thinking about Happy Grasshopper, we had all that pain in mind. And we thought about what we learned about this life cycle of an email marketer. This is from a company called Gartner. They measure trends and provide data for the tech industry. And this is really kind of interesting. If you look at the beginning, close to the XY axis, you see people become aware of email marketing. We see lots of advertising for it. It's all over the place. Next step is they engage, right? They've got some inflated expectations about what's possible. And then comes the first month, and what do? They send. They've added lots of people to their list. They get it out there. They send that message, and they get almost no reply. And they kind of just sink into their chair, right? And so the next month comes, and they're like, well, gosh, I know I should do something, but it didn't really pull that well for me last month, so they stopped doing it. And that's what this trough is that you see there. That's where number 5 is. And Gartner calls that the valley of disillusionment. It's where you end up after you try something and it doesn't work. So we thought about that quite a lot when we were designing Happy Grasshopper. And we thought about the pain that people have in not knowing what to say and when to say it. And we thought about the fact that you really need to see the results right away. You've got to get instant replies or it's not something you'll stick with. So what we decided to do was shake up the way that email marketing was done. Instead of asking you to create all the content, we decided we'd have a team of writers who would write the messages for you. And we said, you know what? Instead of always talking about real estate, instead of always talking about market conditions, instead of reminding people to clean their gutters and change their air filters, we'd write about fun, friendly things that are happening right now. So you'd have a good conversation starter with people in your database. So it's very simple. Once every 3 weeks, people log into our service. They find a message they like. They edit it if they choose, or they just click approve, and then we deliver it out to the database for them, and they just watch the replies come to their response. I started today by saying this was my first RETSO. There's another first for me today. I don't know how many real estate shows I've been to now this year, but this is the first one where people are coming up to me and saying, Dan, and giving me a hug and thanking me for the results they're getting using our service. That is so cool, I can't even tell you. Can we have a quick show of hands of people who've tried Happy Grasshopper? Keep your hands up if you love it. That's awesome. Thank you. Really appreciate that. We have lots of customer love going on. And I'm not going to read you a bunch of testimonials and tell you about this. I just want to point out that they're up there. Facebook has been a really huge thing for us at Happy Grasshopper. How many of you have heard of the Facebook group, What Should I Spend My Money On? And there should be a few there. If you're not a member of this group, you should join. Absolutely you should. It's nothing but a place where people are constantly talking about what they're doing and what works for them. And the way I learned about the group was a lady named Victoria Jacobs. She's up in Toronto. She posted my suggestion in Best Find of 2011 was Happy Grasshopper. That was so cool for us to see. And looking around the room, I know at least a couple of you have signed up because of things that you've seen on Facebook. So again, I thank you for that. To help you remember, de-douche with social proof. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not trying to say, hey, it'll work, trust me. I'm letting you read the words of customers. The same thing works great for you guys. If you can get your clients to tell your potential customers about how much they like working with you. Facebook's a great way to do that. There's another group called Raise the Bar in Real Estate. And here an agent named Nat Wallen, he mentions that just from his first email, Happy Grasshoppers engaged several past clients, one for a new listing and one with a $1.2 million referral. That's fantastic. Now, I do want to be very clear about something. If you're not already doing a good job, if you're not already committed to being a professional, we can't make you one by helping you keep in touch with people. So, the better job you're doing already, the better results you get by staying in touch with larger groups of people. There's another group called the Frugal Club. Who's heard of that? Frugal Club members, hands up. It's a cool group. I'm a big fan of Frugal. There's a guy in the group named Lyndon Moe, and he wrote this little success story. His last email goes out. He got a past client who wants to trade up for a listing and sale. One person in his sphere wants to buy a foreclosure, both in one email. I just want to point out how weird that is, right? It doesn't make sense that we should be getting those kind of results by never mentioning real estate. That's something I think people don't understand. When our email messages go out, they never talk about you, they never talk about real estate, they never talk about market conditions. But they do have a branded email signature that reminds everyone exactly what you do. The people in your database don't need to be reminded about what you do so much. They don't need to be told that, as they just need to be engaged in conversation. And they'll be happy to refer you, happy to send opportunity your way. Here's a couple of sample messages so you can see what they look like. I want to point out that our messages have absolutely no Happy Grasshopper branding anywhere on the message. They're not wrapped with templates. Because you know what happens when you put a template on an email? The recipient immediately goes, oh, okay, I'm not the only one getting this. Right? This message is going to who knows how many other people. That's something that happens on social media as well. We ran kind of an interesting test where we made a post on Facebook, and then we made the same comment in email, and we sent it out. We got a much greater response rate from the email than we did from the Facebook. In fact, there's a guy named Darren Persinger at Productivity Junkies. He just wrote a blog post about this that went up yesterday. Pretty cool. We ran the test also. This message here on the right side is a Mother's Day message. It says, hi Dan, you probably know already, but Mother's Day is May 9th. Any special plans for Mom? Did you know that in Serbia they celebrate by tying her feet together with string? She actually has to negotiate her release by giving her children small gifts. Not much in it for Mom, but at least she gets to lay down for a little while. Hope you have a great weekend. Let me know if you need anything. Best, Kristen. We got so much feedback when that message went out last year. People love that message. I mentioned a quote from Lyndon, what he put on Facebook about us earlier. This is the actual email message that generated that result. The subject line is worst day ever. It says, hi Dan, imagine this. You walk into a bank and the teller trips a silent alarm. Moments later, the police arrive, they knock you on the head, wrestle you to the ground, put handcuffs on you and take you to jail. Is this the worst day ever? 3 years later, the victim was awarded over $3 million. What do you think? Not such a bad day after all. Hope you're well. Let me know if you need anything. Best, Lynn. There's a common element to both these email messages I want to point out. They're relevant to today. That's the real secret about Happy Grasshopper and why our messages are effective. We're not writing hundreds of emails at a time and then storing them and letting you choose when they go out. Our writers are writing in real time. So if there's something that's interesting that's happening today, you're going to find it on Happy Grasshopper tomorrow. That's a really neat, unique thing. Another thing we do with our service that's cool is we make sure that no single recipient ever gets the same email message twice. So if I'm on Darren's list and I'm on Steven's list, they both get to choose separate messages from Happy Grasshopper. We send out an email that says, your next mail is ready to go out. It's totally transparent to them. They don't have to worry about sorting their database or choosing who doesn't get what message. We take care of all that for them automatically behind the scenes. So, guys, I'm Dan Stewart from Happy Grasshopper. I really appreciate your attending my talk today. And I want to take a few minutes to answer any questions that you've got. Anybody? That's quiet, pin drop quiet time. Our service is $19 per month. That's for up to 500 contacts, $29 for up to 2,000. Your first 30 days are just $5. And at the show, we are doing 20% off any of our annual plans. So one other thing about that is we don't have any contracts. And it's our promise that you're going to get replies every time a message goes out for you. And if you don't, you can cancel and we'll give you a full refund. So completely painless.
Do you have a way to have my IDX send leads to your system? Or you have to like upload a file every week, or how does that work?
You don't have to upload it every week. You can do it however often you choose to. We do not have direct IDX feeds. The idea with Happy Grasshopper is to let you communicate more effectively with people who already know who you are. So we're not a first touch. If someone's requested information about a home in the middle of the night, it shouldn't get a Happy Grasshopper message the next day. It won't make sense to them. But after you've had a conversation with them and they know who you are, then they should be on your Happy Grasshopper list.
Dan, talk a little bit about your stats and tracking.
So, okay, happy to. Steven's asking me to mention some stats and tracking. With email marketing, everybody's open rates can be all over the place. System-wide, we average about a 30% open rate, which is 198% higher than constant contact, specific to the real estate vertical. So that's kind of a huge departure. Steven is a customer. He gave us a great testimonial. The first email that he had go out, correct me if I'm wrong, someone who had been on your E-Edge, your 33 campaign, responded when he wasn't replying to anything else, and he actually had a property to sell. So that was pretty good.
So I'm going to assume that people unsubscribe to emails because they think the emails are douchey. What is your unsubscribe rate versus someone else's that's maybe a little salesy or douchey or whatever?
Yeah, that's a great question. He's asking about our unsubscribe rate and specific comparison to other people's individual email accounts. I don't have that data for you, but I can say system-wide ours is less than 2%. And any users here want to chime in about their unsubscribe rate?
Haven't had any yet.
Haven't had any? Steven, you know? 0? Yeah, the idea is to make it look so natural, just like a message you wrote yourself, that people don't feel like they're being solicited. There's never a call to action.
The address it's actually sent from, you actually log into Live Exchange server. You use a username and log into my server? Or
No. All the messages, he's asking where the emails come from. They are delivered from our services. We are an email service provider, and we have a team of people making sure that we're whitelisted with the ISPs and their messages
So if I
actually
look at
get
the header, I'm going to see it came from a third party.
No, if you look at the header, it's going to appear exactly like you sent it yourself. That's the methodology that we use. Oh, that's a great question. She's asking about segmentation. Can we choose who gets what message? And the answer is no, which may be surprising, but one of the pain points we saw with traditional email marketing is that you get people in a buyer bucket and people in a seller bucket, and people maybe in a leasing bucket, and you try to have content that's relevant to each of them. Happy Grasshopper content is relevant to everybody. So you can put all your customers, everybody in your database can go to Happy Grasshopper.
Like your Mother's Day, if your mother's not living, can you say, has someone wrong?
Well, yeah, I've had some users ask that sort of question in the past, and then they think about it for a moment. They go, well, it's still Mother's Day. Maybe they're married, maybe they've got children. They may be a mother themselves. It does. It does. She's asking about uploading your database. It's really simple. We sync with Yahoo, Gmail, Outlook, so on and so forth. You can upload a CSV file. It's really simple to get the data in there. And we're in the process of integrating with some other CRM tools. We've been working on an integration with Wise Agent. That'll become a lot of work. Not at this time. We're not working on that. But Top Producer makes it so easy to export to a CSV. It's a no-brainer. Super easy. Other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Enjoy RETSO.